After I decided that I wanted to create a main product and ancillary text that revolved around the genre teen comedy, I began researching comedy films that allowed me to analyse and interpret the main reoccurring conventions. I took inspiration from Hot Fuzz as it includes a typical odd couple. Grimsby, another trailer I analysed, also held an odd couple, which shows that this is a common convention in the comedy genre. I looked at Mean Girls, which is set in a high school and demonstrates the struggle of fitting into new surroundings. This allowed me to gain inspiration of how to portray Will as an outsider trying to join the social hierarchy at school. Again, this convention was also seen in GBF as a homosexual struggles to be accepted. After researching and learning what the main conventions are for the comedy genre, I developed and challenged many ideas that led to the final product. For the trailer, I used a range of both formal and genre conventions which allowed me to be more fluid and bold with my outcome. One formal convention is a voiceover. I used a voiceover throughout the whole of my trailer as this is what developed the storyline and allowed the audience to gain an understanding of how the two main characters were connected with each other. It made it clear that they were related and therefore continued on to explore their distaste between each other and how they progress over time. The rude language throughout the trailer clearly expresses Stone's hate for her cousin Will and how she believes he is an alien species that will only destroy. Another formal convention is slating. Slating is one of the most common formal conventions in all genre types. I use slates to present the production companies involved as this allows for the audience to gain an understanding of who distributed the product and who created it. Finally, we have a soundtrack. Having a soundtrack results in a sense of completion for the audience. It ties all the clips together to produce a sequence. I challenged this convention due to only using one soundtrack. Typically, throughout a trailer, you would hear at least 2 different tracks. This generally is used when a change has happened, and this could be any change including scenery or characters on screen. I don't believe only having one soundtrack hinders my trailer, as there is a wide range of keys throughout my trailer, and the melody is constantly changing to match the scenes displayed. Throughout the trailer, I have presented many genre conventions, including the use of an extravagant character. Will Jacobs is clearly a fish out of water that exaggerates and is overdramatic. His character continuously develops as becoming more comfortable in his new surroundings, and this can be seen through the use of his clothing. He wears outrageous outfits such as a minion onesie and a pair of gold hot pants. This is to suggest his slightly camp ideals and that he is from America, so clearly has no boundaries. His theatrical character presents the comedic aspect within the trailer as he never knows when to stop. This idea also leads on to the genre convention of conflict and how Will and Stone are seen to dislike each other and not get along. The use of mise-en-scène and editing emphasise the battle between the two characters. The quick cuts between the shots of the pool table display the aggression and the powerful loathing of the two. This clearly shows that they don't get on and that Stone is rejecting the stay of Will. Finally, I challenge the typical starting of a comedy trailer. Generally, comedy trailers start with the main character either doing something funny and stupid or they are introducing themselves. I have subverted this typical convention as I have started in a graveyard after the death of a relative. This is unusual as it is gloomy and depressing. For one of my ancillary texts, the film poster, I researched several different comedy film posters in order to gain inspiration for the presentation of my main characters. Having the main character starring on the poster is a common convention as it allows the audience to see who is starring in the feature. Using the main character on the poster allows the audience to understand the characters and their social status in the film. Again, the positioning of the pictures of the characters also help understand the sense of hierarchy and the potential conflict between the two characters. As well as being smaller than Stone, Will is also behind her. This clearly shows that she has more power and control compared to Will himself. 2 common genre conventions that I saw through my own products and the other real media texts are the use of typography. Text in different fonts are used all over film posters. I used this idea to create a poster that looked like a piece of paper with scribbles on. This theme matches the setting of my trailer as it's mainly based at school. Typographies give the audience an understanding of the genre. The fun, bold and interesting fonts indicate a comedy production. It helps reinforce the branding and connects with the audience. The small doodles, the coffee cup stain and the reference of loser all show the hate Stone feels towards Will. The idea behind the poster is that Stone is too distracted by Will's arrival to do any work. Instead, she spends her time drawing symbols and pictures she believes sum Will up. For example, we have a few planets on the left side of the page suggesting that not only does Will dream a lot, but that he is also from another planet. Similarly, we have a cactus by Stone showing that she is prickly. When researching other film posters, I realised that The Diary of the Wimpy Kid had a similar font. This again shows that it is a teen comedy and explores issues within the school environment. In order to develop and challenge the conventions, I rotated the billing block so that it was at an angle instead of straight. This was so that the design of the poster having two separate pieces of paper on top of one another was continued throughout and allowed the poster to look fluent and complete. Another challenge is the photograph in the centre. The photograph has been edited to look like a sketch, and conventionally images are photographic. The adapting of the image to look like a sketch is also seen through Juno. The sketching of the main characters when being introduced is memorable and intriguing to the eye, so therefore wanted to incorporate something similar. I found the magazine cover to be the most challenging when it came to meeting both the formal and genre conventions. The masthead pause is a relevant title as it relates to the industry. The word pause suggests to the audience that they have to stop what they are doing and either relax by reading my magazine or exploring the key features within it. Its typography and font is appropriately placed in the typical area title is expected to be. This makes the magazine stand out as it is clear and bold. It is a strong masthead as it is an imperative. This instantly engages the audience. The smaller cover lines are irrelevant to the main cover line. This means they support the magazine's featuring of upcoming teen drama films. By having the protagonist on the front cover of the magazine, the audience can clearly see that the character is the main feature in both the film and the article. The cover image explores several different facial expressions and emotions that the character has felt throughout all three products. It shows the audience a sense of comedy. When deciding on what colour the background of the magazine should be, I experimented with a wide range of shades of green and blue. I went with a dark teal colour as it highlights subtle details that appear on the cover photo. Although the end result isn't a typical colour a magazine would be, I believe it works really nicely alongside the rest of the text as it looks intriguing and different at the same time. Another challenge of the conventions is the chopped up images to create one cover photo. Although I really liked the outcome, it wasn't my initial idea. I couldn't get a good photograph of the cover star singly, which resulted in having to make a practical alteration that ended with challenging the convention. Overall, I think that the success of the three texts and how they work singly and together is really strong and effective. They all challenge the formal and genre conventions but also comply in their own ways. The wide range of unique and stimulating ideas I believe is inspiring and works well with the themes of my products create. My Twitter pitch explores the themes of independence, loyalty and acceptance because I want to attract the attention of the teenage market. American Will Jacobs runs for head boy in his London state school, but do his values compete with British ones? Allows for this audience to home in on realistic circumstances whilst seeing a comedic side to this period in life. Will Jacobs, an overdramatic and extravagant character, comes face to face with needing to be accepted into new surroundings and struggles to fit in, which many in my target audience can identify with. The trailer clearly explores the problems change can bring for both characters and how they try to resolve and work things out. This, I believe, works really well with the film poster as the poster presents the audience with a sense of character. The idea behind the poster is to show the frustration Stone feels with the intrusion of Will, which can be seen through the positioning of the characters and their facial expressions. The colour also enhances the characters' feelings as the red indicates Stone's hatred towards Will and the blue signifies a sense of innocence and guilt on his behalf. The trailer is aimed to capture the eyes of both genders, which is why I've kept the poster neutral and used colours that aren't gendered. The poster, I believe, well captures the spirit of a teen comedy, as the facial expression on the characters' faces show true emotions and express how teens tackle issues faced on a day-to-day basis. The typography used in both the trailer and on the poster connects the two texts together and shows the playful and creative mind of the teenager to the audience. The font helps to clarify that it is a teen comedy. Due to the lack of communication and brainstorming of ideas and inspiration, the magazine had several different designs. I wanted to create a fun magazine cover that highlighted the trailer's comedic aspects but failed to do so, resulting in restarting. The first magazine cover made was incredibly similar to the poster. It held the same image, background and typography, resulting in the two media texts holding too many of the same features. This draft then got discarded due to the fact that the magazine cover and the poster couldn't directly link. This was because the products are separately designed and made within different organisations. The final magazine cover was the biggest success out of the options, resulting in the launch. It presented the main actress from Yanker, making it very clear that this was the main feature story. The magazine cover being made independently by a different organisation doesn't link specifically design-wise to the trailer or the poster. The cover image is several prints of the leading actor of Yanker, which suggests to the audience that our trailer is an independent movie instead of mainstream. Due to the collage design and by featuring in such a magazine, it is clear that this will lead the audience to believe that the film is more indie. The magazine cover explores the upcoming films of the year that support the target audience's expectations. The comedic cover line for the film is used to gain the attention of the audience using the frustration caused by the production positively and will entice the wanted and needed audience. It allows the audience to further immerse themselves in the themes of Yanker by reading about how the art of the film imitated the life of behind the scenes. The original take of a magazine cover, I believe, has worked well in my favour, as it is different to the standard form of a mainstream magazine that would blend in on a shelf. The unique colour of the background highlights features of the images and complements the title and tagline. The QR code in the corner of the magazine adds the technological side that my target audience is currently immersed in. It appeals to teenagers and deepens their engagement with the film. The idea of the QR code was to attract the target audience as it involves using a phone. You can easily find out about the film on a phone, and it is also much easier to share contents with friends, which starts the marketing process while the product goes viral. Overall, I think the main text, the trailer, and both ancillary texts complement each other nicely and pick out the small details that other texts are presenting. Both the poster and the magazine support the trailer and promote the film in an eye-catching manner that highlights key inspiration for our trailer. For example, the typography of Yanker on the magazine holds the American flag, which is clearly a statement piece throughout the trailer, with Will's American onesie in the posters he pins around the school grounds. Therefore, the subtle hints throughout all three texts combine and transform the storyline in a battle between the cultures. When first researching for inspiration for my trailer, I presented a set of comedy trailers including Mean Girls and Grimsby to a group and assessed their reactions and views of the content. The result allowed us to narrow down on a subgenre and also indicated that unless the trailer had a continuous sense of humour throughout, they wouldn't have considered the trailer to be a comedy. For example, on one hand we have Mean Girls continuously presenting the characters as animalistic, which is humorous to my target audience and clearly shows it's comedy. On the other hand, we have Cabin in the Woods, which I personally would not associate with a comedy, but the rest of my group insisted as it mocks horror. The continuous suspense and tense scenes clearly confused the audience on what genre it falls under. This told me that I had to include a wide range of comedic moments in my trailer in order to even be associated with this genre. This then allowed me to further my research and widen my knowledge of the genre comedy and gain inspiration from the successful trailers by determining what was and what wasn't. After I presented my rough cut to a few members of my target audience, I noted that the general feedback concluded that we did need to add more comedy into our trailer. This resulted in the adapting of the overdramatic character Will owns in the final product. We used costume to show our audience that he is a fish out of water, and this can be seen through his little gold hot pants and his minion onesie. I used Google Forums to create a questionnaire that asked members of my target audience for feedback on my product. I had a wide range of questions which allowed my audience to answer honestly. The questions were specific but allowed the audience to elaborate on their ideas and opinions, which ultimately resulted in a wide spectrum of both praise and criticism. For example, we had both positive and negative reviews of the trailer, both saying that it was really cleverly made and that the editing was good, but then had criticism of the sound and how the dialogue was inaudible. I agree with this issue but didn't anticipate them while planning. Although they hinder the trailer, they can still be seen in a positive light because I now know the weaknesses of my work and how I can strengthen it in the future. Overall, I'm really pleased with the feedback I received from the group of people within our target audience who viewed the product. The majority of the comments I did receive were positive with only a few criticisms. The negative comments I feel were due to things that we could control during the production stage but didn't. This resulted in not being able to change issues caused in the production stage in the post-production stage. These include inconsistent lighting and ambient sound. Another issue can be from the audience taking an unusual reading of my text, but I believe this is a good thing as it means the actual core of the trailer and ancillary text were well made and generally a success. I feel that through the process of receiving feedback on my products, I have learnt a lot about how to make media text to a more professional standard in the near future. The main thing that I have learned is that when planning for filming, you need an extremely clear outline of what is necessary and what's not. This makes filming days easier and more productive as you aren't wasting time discussing and debating on whether to shoot something or not. I have learnt to plan using a range of techniques and how I will achieve specific looks, but at the same time think about what the target audience is expecting and what they are looking for in the understanding of my products. Smartphones have been incredibly helpful throughout the whole process. Due to their portability, it is easy to keep track of what is needed to be done and also handy to communicate within the group. We set up a WhatsApp group chat and also a Facebook Messenger chat, as this allowed my group and I to express our ideas and concerns about our media products. The group chats were incredibly handy when having to decide on a genre for our products and also keeping in contact when we were filming. Being teenagers, we always have our phone nearby. This meant it was incredibly easy to access online material such as YouTube to gain inspiration and also for accessing our online blog. This meant that we could always check what we had previously said we were going to do and also link both our primary and secondary research to our products. A smartphone is a good tool to organise a schedule on and take notes and pictures outside of school hours. Even as teens, it was sometimes tricky to contact the entire group at once. Sometimes a few members wouldn't read a message till a couple hours later, which meant that ideas and opinions were left out. For example, at the beginning we really struggled with deciding what genre to go with, as there was a lack of options or overlapping opinions, as barely anyone contributed. It was also sometimes tricky to contact the group, as not all of the phones were on during school hours, and signal also became a problem when trying to communicate with each other. Again, some members of our group didn't have WhatsApp, so in order to compromise, we used both WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger to allow the definite communication so that everyone was brought up to date and knew what the plans were. OneDrive and email were both crucial pieces of technology, especially during the planning and construction stages. Email was very useful to send information and resources to the group members, as it meant that all the material could be accessed from almost anywhere. Again, OneDrive was useful as it could store the relevant products that needed to be shared and accessed by all the members. I generally used email to send myself the work I had done, so not only could I edit at home, but also so that I had a backup copy of everything in case my computer crashed. Although there are many positives about email and OneDrive, they are hard to control. If you email a member of the group, it was really difficult to estimate when that member would check their emails. This resulted in emailing becoming rather unreliable if you needed a quick response. YouTube is another amazing technology. Due to being online, it is really accessible from anywhere, which meant that researching for ideas and inspiration was incredibly easy. Because of the fact that anyone can post on YouTube, you are able to access a wide range of media texts and a continuous real-life reference to trailers. Due to having such easy access to everything, I did find it tricky not to mix up genres. This could result in analysing the wrong genre and presenting a piece of work that had a mixed message and confused the audience. Finally, we have a Mac computer and the wide range of programs it offers. When creating my trailer and ancillary text, I used Premiere Pro, After Effects and Photoshop to explore new techniques at creating a range of new styles and intriguing visuals across my products. Adobe Premiere Pro is a video editing software that allows you to manipulate visuals by changing the colour, the viewing time and the sound. This program is easy to use and is self-explanatory, whilst the result is crisp and clean. I really like the visuals and the transformations you can achieve on Premiere Pro. I used several crossfades throughout the trailer, especially after I had a distribution slate. These are used to smoothen the cuts from different settings and make the transitions easier on the eye. Similarly to Premiere Pro, Photoshop and After Effects both allow you to manipulate an image instead. I used Photoshop to change the colouring of the photograph on the poster. This was really easy to do, as the toolbar on the side allows you to easily swap between brushes and colours, which allowed you to get all the little details. Again, I used Photoshop to make the magazine cover, as the toolbar allowed me to create the photographic design of the cover star and also allowed me to adapt and change the background colour. Finally, I used After Effects to create the slates. This included downloading the paper background and typography and then editing the font size and colour to make it match the teen comedy convention. Overall, technology has really helped me gain an understanding of the different media conventions and how they work together to create different media products.